Hello, my name is Eric Robles and I am the co-creator and executive producer of Nickelodeon's Glitch Text. Today, I'll be doing a two-part speed draw through of how to draw both Hi-5 and Miko. So let's get started.
So, we're going to start off with Hi-5, Hector Nieves. And the first thing I like to do is try to capture just who the character is, his personality. So with this rough, it doesn't have to be your perfect drawing. This is where you get to explore and really have fun. The character stays very loose. I'm thinking about shapes, I'm thinking about perspective, I'm thinking about personality. And I'll sometimes flip the canvas around to make sure that my drawing is balanced and he's not tilting over. Then I'll go into the next phase, which is cleanup. As you're cleaning up, you still want to not forget that you're sculpting. You want to make sure that you're drawing around shapes and it's not a flat drawing. You want to make sure that things are wrapping completely around the character. You actually have a three-dimensional character. It's not a flat character, it's three-dimensional. So when you're drawing, you want to think that you're drawing in volumes and making sure that everything is wrapping around that character. Hi-5 is more of a lanky character, so you want to make sure that you get those thin legs in there, you get thin arms, but not too thin because you want to still make him strong enough to make sure he fights these glitches.
Squee, I love Castlestein!
Yeah, totally beat that one. Oh, too slow.
I'll also make adjustments like moving the rough drawing underneath around. So if he's not looking tall enough like he was here, I went ahead and just went underneath, adjusted the drawing, and just kept making my revisions. Again, you want to take your time. Even though this is a super fast drawing, I took my time and just made sure that things were working.
It's a treasure room! They're worth a ton of XP! There's more than enough here to buy limited edition sneakers. There's enough to buy all the limited edition everything!
I went ahead and adjusted 5's neck just to make him a little bit taller, a little bit more lankier, putting in the small little details that are needed to refine this guy. Putting in the last touches, which is the visor there. And then, once all that hard line work is done, then we'll go ahead and add some color to this guy and have some fun. What's really cool is seeing this guy come to life, not only in black and white, but when you start adding color, there's just something magical that happens when you start seeing these guys in color. I like to think of like where my light source is coming from when I'm putting in color. So making sure that the shadows are all coming from one area, the light's coming from one area, and that'll really help your drawing look a lot more dimensional. There he is, Hi-5. So now we're moving on to Miko. Miko has a big personality, so I want to make sure I capture that in this expression that she has. And obviously she's a lot more volumetric than 5 is, so I want to make sure I capture those volumes correctly with her. Thinking about perspective as well, so making sure that they're both planted on the same ground. As I start doing that, I begin to sculpt again. This is what I call sculpting, is when you start really figuring out what these shapes are, making sure that she's grounded, making sure there's a lot of good volumes around her. Thinking about just her silhouette in general, making sure it's very different from 5's, of course. She's a lot shorter, a little more stockier than 5, but still, like, she's very agile. So I want to make sure that that's represented in the design. Once I go into cleanup, this is the phase where I'm still sculpting, but now I'm starting to figure out the armor that she has on, making sure that that has volume around it, and everything's still working with the character as far as perspective, as far as her personality is still coming out, and it's starting to come out even more in the cleanup phase here. I make sure that I still draw through things to make sure that things are wrapping around the character, like if it's her sleeves, whether it's her boots, everything still feels volumetric, and that's very essential, I think, to design.
Oh, nice level design, Emma. You know what this simulation needs? Killer worm! Hey, plant face! Say goodbye to your little friend.
And don't be intimidated when you look at this, because I've been drawing Miko in 5 for a very long time, so I've had a lot of practice, and not all of my drawings have been great. I mean, you know, you start figuring it out little by little, and the more you do it, the better you get. And now we're just wrapping up the little details, making sure her eyelashes, her hair, and as you can see, even with the hairlines, I'll draw through.
Creaking door. It's gonna take more than that to freak us. Oh, okay, that's kind of creepy.
And then we go into the fun part, which is coloring. She's got that purple, magenta type hair. So I'll do like a gradient there. And there you go. High Five and Miko. Hope you enjoyed, guys.